All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Sports Podcast. And for the second part of the show, we're going to now talk about the Lakers Mavericks game from last night. Luka facing off against the Mavericks for the first time since the blockbuster trade, and ended up getting a triple double on the night. The Lakers picked up the win. It was actually a relatively exciting game. It looked like the Lakers might end up possibly losing the game, but they ended up pulling away at the end, and this was a shorthanded Mavericks team, by the way, too, and they really gave the Lakers a run for their money. The Lakers ended up winning 107-99, and Luka at the end of the game said, talking about closure, he said the closure is going to take a while. I think I don't know. It's just not ideal. Like I said, I'm glad this game is over. There was a lot of emotions. It'll go little by little. Every day is better. And when the TNT crew were interviewing him at the end of the game, he said, "I can't wait to go to sleep." But early on, he hit that three, and he stared down that Mavericks bench. So you could tell this game meant a lot to him early on, and yeah, no, I mean, he ended up getting a triple double on the night, and LeBron James, of course, he had a big game as well. LeBron finished with 27 points. He had 12 rebounds, 11 of 17 shooting. So he had a good night. 2 for 4 from three. He had a big three late in the fourth quarter. Luka had 19 points. He had 15 rebounds and 12 assists. Like I said, triple double. Austin Reeves had 20 points. He had Hachimura. He had 15. So once again, the Lakers starters, 4 out of the 5 starters, they finish in double digits. You got to like how the Lakers have been playing as of late. Since the Luka trade. Next, they're going to be playing the Timberwolves tomorrow, so that's going to be a good game. But right now, so the Lakers are the fourth seed, and 2 games back of the Grizzlies and the Nuggets. So that 2 seed is still in reach. But like I said, this was a competitive game. The Mavericks are missing a few guys. They're missing Lively and Gafford and Anthony Davis. I mean, that's Anthony Davis, of course, was the main part that the Mavericks got back in the Luka trade. So yeah, they're missing quite a few guys, and they were still able to hang around and make this game competitive. And at one point in the fourth quarter, Klay Thompson turned back the clock and turned into vintage Klay Thompson. Hit a couple of threes, and in the fourth quarter, and you thought, oh man, could the Mavericks end up winning this game? But that ended up not happening. Kyrie Irving, he had 35 points on the night, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Klay Thompson had 22 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist. He was 5 for 10 from 3. But yeah, it was in the fourth quarter. So I mean, it was a crazy sequence because you had Thompson made a 3. To make it 84-82. Then LeBron 2-pointer to make it 86-82. Then Thompson hit another 3 to make it 86-85. Jackson Hayes had a dunk that made it 88-85. And then Klay Thompson hit another 3. So on 3 straight possessions, Klay Thompson hits a 3. And you thought, oh man, that's not good. But then LeBron, like I said, hit that big 3 to put them up 91-88. Marshall for the Mavericks tied the game at 91 with his own 3. And then once it was 91-91, it was close for a little bit, but the Lakers kind of pulled away, like I said, at the end, and they end up winning 107-99. But this was an important game for Luka. I'm sure that he circled this on the calendar, and we'll see what happens when these teams match up again later in the season. If the Mavericks are a bit healthier, but you got to give the Mavericks credit, missing a few guys, and they were battling and. They kept this game close, but, they come up short. And right now, they would be a play-in team. But it's just kind of interesting because I was thinking about this last night. Just the fact that, the Mavericks traded Luka. You would have thought, like, this is now Kyrie Irving's team, I guess. You would have thought that, with the history of Kyrie Irving, that he would have found his way out of Dallas and he would have been the one that was traded instead of Luka. But that didn't happen. It ended up being Luka. And The Lakers had some good ball movement last night. Um, Luka is going to continue to get acclimated, and like we saw the other night against the Nuggets, he's going to have more games like that. And he had, he didn't have as many points, but did put up a triple double. So did well in other areas, getting rebounds and assists. So and I think I talked about this too. Is that you have Luka and LeBron, you don't need them both to be on the court at the same time. I mean, well, obviously, that's going to happen in the playoffs, but you know, on some of these nights, you could have at least one of these guys on the court. One of these guys can carry the offense, and that's big. You get LeBron off his feet. You give him extra rest. Because you're going to need him to be fresh when you get to the playoffs. Luka is a guy that can go out there and carry an offense. So you got to like how the Lakers are playing right now. And, you look at the Western Conference, I mean, they could definitely make a run. I think the one team that I'd worry about if they had to go up against them is Denver, just because they've had a problem with Denver in the past in the playoffs. I know they just beat them, but that's, it's a regular season. When we get to the postseason, it's a different animal. But I do think that they could beat anybody in this Western Conference. Right now, they would match up against the Rockets, and the Rockets have turned things around. They had a few down years, but now they're back in the playoff picture. But yeah, I mean, look, if you got LeBron James and you got Luka, and Luka is on a hot streak, they're going to be really tough to beat. I know some people probably worry about them defensively, but I mean, you got two top 10 players, and they could definitely cause problems in that Western Conference. And like I said, they still have a chance to move up in the standings. You're a couple of games back of Denver and Memphis. And how about the Grizzlies? They got into it was like an all-star game. The final score against the Suns last night, it was 151 to 148. And, that was a huge loss for the Suns because, they're trying to get themselves back in. Right now they're on the outside looking in. But they ended up losing that game. John Morant, huge game last night, 29 points on the night. Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Ball, they all had over 20 points. Durant had 26, Ball had 23, Bradley Beal had 24, and Booker had 28. And they lost. And you also had 21 points by Grayson Allen off the bench, and this game went into overtime, and they lost by 3. The Warriors, they continue their winning ways. They win 128 to 92. Jimmy Butler only had 6 points, but it really didn't matter here. So the Warriors continue to win too. So they're playing well. The Rockets, they won by 3 last night against the Bucks. So, we're moving along here. Cavs won big over the Magic. Celtics won by 10 over the Raptors. So, yeah, we're getting closer and closer to the playoffs when it comes to the NBA. We still got some time, but we're getting there. But yeah, for the Mavericks right now, they are a play-in team. To kind of get back to this game, they're a play-in team. They are the 9th seed. So, they got to get healthy. And if they get healthy, we'll see what happens. Anthony Davis is going to be out for a while, so hopefully you get him back at some point. But yeah, it's just the broadcast was crediting them for battling, with them being shorthanded, but this could really hurt them. They could be, on the outside looking in. If these injuries really take their toll on this team. Now, I do think, you have Kyrie Irving, who had a big game last night. He's a guy that you're going to have to really rely on. Klay Thompson, are we going to get that out of Klay more often? If getting that Klay Thompson, you could tread water, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, so Luka, got his revenge at least this time. And I think because they were talking about the next time they play the Mavericks, and the next time that they play the Mavericks, I'd have to look, it's going to be is it sometime in March? No, it might be, actually, no, it's sometime in April. Yeah, so this is actually, they'll be playing them on April 9th. So this will actually be the third to last regular season game. So it's more than a month away. But this will be the third to last game. Mavericks will be the home team for this one. And, we'll see if they have Anthony Davis back for the game. We'll see if they're a healthier team by then. But that'll be emotional, I think, for Luka, going back, because Mavericks fans are still sitting there going, what did we just do? Why did we do that? But yeah, that's I still don't understand why the Mavericks did it. I mean, they had their reasoning behind it, but you don't trade a player like that, and Shaquille O'Neal was talking about it. He was going to be the next Dirk Nowitzki, the next longtime Maverick, and they just traded him. And they traded him to the Lakers. It's and now the Lakers got their next, star once LeBron James retires. So I don't know, but how bad would it be if? How bad of a look would it be for the Mavericks if the Lakers went on a run and they won the championship? That would be bad. And you got to remember, the Mavericks, they made it to the finals last year. I know they didn't win, but why are you pulling the plug? It just, I don't know. I'll never understand it. They have their reasonings, but I think their reasonings are not valid. They're not. So we are going to take our next break. Before we do that, I just want to remind you guys once again to tip or donate and get your comments recognized. Make sure to hit that super chat button in the chat if you want to see me acknowledge any thought or comment you may have throughout the live broadcast. Makes the show more lively, more entertaining between myself, the host, and you guys, the viewers. We appreciate you guys' viewership each and every day, so any contribution you can make to the show means the world to us as we put out content for you guys each and every day. And also, the other way to help out the show is by going to the link at the bottom of the show segment on the ticker, GSMCPodcast.net. That is GSMCPodcast.net. So, when we come back from our next break, we will talk some baseball. The Mets, we'll talk about their injuries to their rotation, the impact of that, what they can do, and what guys are going to have to step up. So, with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Sports Podcast.